Hello, I'm Mike. I'm an ex Hells Angel member. I was a member and started the Fresno charter, and I transferred to Santa Barbara to start them up, and then I transferred back to Fresno, and that's where I left in 2011. I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Mike Lynch.
And some guys are living by it. I mean, food money, gas money. Hey, I need a tire on my bike, motherfucker.
No, so they'll have people paying for everything for them.
Well, there are some guys, you know, the club is whole. I love the club. I don't hate the club. Everybody thinks that I would do this podcast and that because I want to get back. No, I don't. You know, I love the club. It made me sick to leave it after the work that I had done and accomplished. But they were tearing us down. They were accusing us of, you know, stealing or doing this or doing that. And it never happened. But we can't plead our case if we can't talk to nobody. Okay, if we have no contact, and that's the rule, and I know the rules because I helped write some of them. You know, if that's the game, then that's the game. And I don't think. I mean, it might have been 8 or 9 years before I had accidental contact with somebody.
Accidental contact?
Well, yeah, we were at the same place, same time, and I went, and this guy's still active.
Yeah.
And cordial. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing fine. How are you? How's everybody doing? Okay. Well, good seeing you. Yeah, hope all's good. Tell everybody I said hi. I've had 3 or 4 of those kind of little deals. No tension, no nothing. My tension was within Fresno itself. You know, some of the guys, and not all of them, just a few of them that were coloring outside the lines, if you ask me. You know, they know better, and they did it anyway. And then when I know about it, I have to do something about it. I have to. You know, and then I just said, hey, you know what? I don't agree with this, or this. I said, and some of you guys in here are fathers and have kids. And I said, and you don't see the wrongdoing of you know, young kids being in and they're feeding them whatever. I said, hey, I don't want to be around that. That's something that if you choose that was on your own choice. And that was a very bad decision. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm telling you right now, I have a friend that I work out with. He's in the gym. He goes, well, you know, we got blah, blah, blah under. And I said, are you shitting me? And I go, why? He goes, man, that fucking dude that owns the plates gets all these underage kids in there, blah, blah, blah. Right? And your guys are in there.
God.
And on occasion or two, we saw a rocker from a different town. And I'm going, whoa. So when I started sparking off, then I could tell what was coming next. So I talked to the guys down there in Santa Barbara. I said, look, you guys are just starting. What do you think? And there was no problem. You know, it ended up being good people down there, good folks, because they had split off from Ventura and went into Santa Barbara, and there was tension that way. And then when I split off from Fresno, went down there, we got more tension. But after you start talking to the powers that be, they pat you on the back and say, good for you, motherfucker. Good for you. Bigger and better. You guys are together. You guys will do what is supposed to be done. And I said, well, I thought that's what we were doing.
But then the other charter's still doing what they're doing, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure with the media being what it's been the last 3 or 4 years, you pretty much know what's going on in what town and who's jumping and who's not and what occurred allegedly at these premises, right? Well, once you put that in the, who am I going to speak to that's legitimate, that's going to want to donate for us to raise money? You know, you find your job that once I had it all done and set up, it was easy. I just recontact everybody every year. I give them, you know, they ate, drank, shirts, you name it. If they came to our event and they were a sponsor, put their name on the shirt, we take care of them, right? Because we want to see them next year. We want to see them the next year.
Yeah.
We don't want him going, they did what? And they did how? And then they say, oh my God, damn guys. And so they distance themselves. You know,
How did that happen for you though? You're in the charter, and
well,
what was
once
your
I
last
left,
day look like? What did your
see,
last
like I'm already out and shit is happening, but you know, you're out, but you know, fucking everybody in town's calling you, hey man. I go, man, I don't want to. I said, it's no longer my deal. It's somebody else's deal. And the way they do things, either you respect the way they do it or you stay at fucking home.
Yeah.
Right. But no, you guys want to be Billy Badass. You want to hang out, stuff a gun down your pants, ride around. And the minute that it comes time to do whatever, you motherfuckers are like chihuahuas at 100 miles an hour. Motherfuckers are scampering, fucking guns on the ground. I mean, you know what I mean? And I said, well, what good are they going to do me? They're not real. I'd rather have a small group of tight motherfuckers that they don't even have to call me. We just look at each other. You know how they did the wink, wink, nod, nod. You know, you know, that's how it works. And we're sitting in a room. That's how it works. I've seen a lot of that. And I said, okay, I understand completely, you know, and it's too bad that the charter I was in at the time had other aspirations than what I did.
Do you end up walking away or do they tell you?
Oh, no, I got voted out.
Can you walk me through that day?
I mean, basically, to this very second, and I have no reason to lie to nobody, I'm still not sure what transpired. I was never told. I was told that, well, you just got out of jail, you're on non-association, but yet you this and you that. And I said, well, I gave them all my paperwork. Okay, well then some rumor somewhere started, and then the powers that be and the substance they choose to ingest, you know, clouds one's judgment. Okay. And when I got called up, I was game. I'm fucking, you know, I'm still on non-association. And they go, hey, but this. And I said, whoa, fuck yeah, fuck you. This is what transpired. I got about 30 seconds to say something. And after that, it was over with, you know. But then I've got certain individuals that thought it was made them fucking more powerful that I was gone. And they started going around, and because I'm a custom painter and I build bikes, I was fairly well known in my area, did great work, did a ton of work for members of this club. You know what I mean? You can look in probably 15, 20 clubhouses, and when they would have an anniversary, right? Let's say it's 25 years or 30 years Purdue. These guys want to go out and buy this 10-cent thing at a trophy shop. And I'm looking at them. I said, hey, homie, these guys have been here. Well, that's just your opinion. So I said, well, never mind. I would go paint a bad fucking ass fucking platform. I did it for probably a dozen to 15 charters, and they're still on the walls. So not everybody hates me.
Yeah.
But the few that do, hey, I'm probably better off for it. Out of sight, out of mind, fuck you. And I'm doing okay, even though, I probably was more popular and more outgoing than I was when I was a member. But now doing this, I have my health back. I got my driver's record and all the shit that they took away from me for being in that club. And because we rode, that's the way we ride. We go 100 miles an hour going grocery shopping. This is the way it fucking is. 2-foot defender at 100 miles an hour for 2 states. And that is what we do. And to change that would be selfish. And the guys some of the guys in my charter were getting selfish. They didn't want to attend this. They didn't want to spend money on that. They didn't want to be first class. I don't mean first class by the money you spend. I talk about first class about the effort that you would spend to do something, to give it to somebody special.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've done it. And like I said, I heard from different people that I have contacted, they were in those clubhouses and everything is exactly the way I left it with those people. They didn't fuck him, and everything's still intact, and I'm very proud of that. And it made me feel good. I don't, the rest of these guys, if they didn't want to do it, then hey, then that's on you. But someday, an elder member is going to fucking come up to you and they're going to ask you something. And the problem with you guys is you're not going to have nothing to say in return. Why? First of all, you don't even know this guy. You never had or took the time to introduce yourself, sit down with them, have a beer, have a plate of food. I don't give a fuck what it is. Talking about motorcycles, whatever, but take that time because it's precious. The information that I got, you couldn't have paid for in a million years.